I like to make movies.
The story of the whiskey documentary, take one.
Whiskey. Oh my god. It's so funny too, because I've been working on it for like 3 years now. So I'm sure I've like purposely blacked out like half of the stories from like personal trauma and emotional damage. I needed all the footage. I needed the whiskey tapes. So I had to go up to Sean Johnson's place in Squamish, and Johnson wasn't too down with the documentary at first. He was kind of like, you know, he'd already closed that can of worms. He was like totally over it, like kind of moved on with his life, wanted to forget about it. Here I am like opening it back up, like so stoked on it. Like, tell me about like all your downfalls. And so I had to get all the tapes from the shed in his backyard. So I finally like get this box of tapes, and you know, old high 8 tapes, and the first tape that I found was like, said like party fighting. And I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be interesting.
Hey!
I probably interviewed like 80 people, like way too many people. You know, like every friend had a friend of a friend. You know, you gotta talk to this guy, he was there for this party. And one of the coolest interviews for me, for some reason, was Sean Palmer. Just because it was really hard to convince him to do the interview and get him into one spot. But, you know, the whiskey scene with the dirt bike through the grocery store is probably one of the most famous scenes. And to hear, they did that twice actually, so to hear the story of them doing it the first time and like fucking it up and almost getting arrested was really cool to hear from him and Johnson, because they were fighting about what actually happened, because no one really remembered. You know, that's why I called the documentary Vague Upbringing, because it brought up that style of like raw reality filmmaking in the skate and snow scene, but like it was so vague because nobody really remembered what was going on, because everyone was just shit tossed. From one of my interviews was my interview with Kearns, and he said like the first time people saw Whiskey One, you know, they would come up to them and be like, it was kind of like hearing punk rock music for the first time. It was like you weren't alone, like somebody else did stupid shit, and it was really, really relatable to a lot of kids. And that's why, you know, that's why I did the documentary. It's the only reason I'm a filmmaker, was because I was like, these guys can fucking do it like anyone can, and it spawned this whole type of like raw reality filmmaking, like, you know, Bam and the CKY videos. Like, he was super stoked on like Whiskey and like Whiskey 2, and I went to interview him in Philadelphia. Me and my friend photographer drove out there, and we get there and his parents like answer, he like lives in like the woods in Philadelphia, and they're just like, dude, Bam's not here, like Bam can't fucking make his own schedule. And I was like, I flew from Vancouver, Canada, like I'm in Philadelphia. Like, they're like, oh, he got drunk and he passed out on his brother's tour bus. Like, so I had to like, his friends like drove me like to New York, and we had to like find Bam and like do his interview. But it turned out great because the interview's rad, and you know, he totally gave props and respect to like, you know, the first time he saw Whiskey, because so many people were just like, oh, I want to do that too, you know, like. Got your snowboarding, your skateboarding, it's got your antics, and at the heart of it, there's a story about 2 guys who really made something out of nothing, and